Welcome to the Reports Analysis Division web video series on FECFile, the Commission's free electronic filing software. This video will walk you through the process of entering two of the most common disbursement transactions into a report, a payment to a vendor and a contribution made to a federal candidate. Before starting, you will need to open your existing committee database in FECFile. Remember to use your existing committee file rather than creating a new one. Also, have the Getting Started with FECFile user manual for PAC and Party committees on hand. And it may be helpful to watch the previous videos in this series if you haven't done so already. Useful resources can be found in the Commission's website or in the About section below. Beginning at your report screen, you will see a list of the reports your committee has created in your data file. To enter transactions into a specific report, highlight the report, then click the Summary Page tab. If the tab is not visible, simply click on the Display Summary Page icon on the toolbar. This will display the summary page for the selected report, in this case the April Quarterly Report. Here, you will see the categories of financial activity on the Form 3X. To enter a payment to a vendor, highlight line 21B in the Summary Page tab, then right-click and choose New. Note, you can also double-click on a line to bring up this box. You will advance to the Federal Operating Expenditure box, which is where you will enter all of the required information for this transaction. Let's start by entering the necessary information for the vendor. If their name does not appear in the box below, you will have to enter their identification information before you can add the transaction details. Since this vendor isn't in our database, hit the Tab key on your keyboard and you'll advance to the Individual Organization Information box. This is where you will enter the name and address of the vendor. First, you will need to change the type to Business/Financial Institution, since the vendor is a business. To do this, click the drop-down box and select this option. Once you enter all of the information for a vendor, the software will pull from the individual and organization database to save you time so you do not have to fill out the form for future transactions. Click OK and you are now ready to enter the rest of the information for this transaction. In addition to the date and amount of payment, other federal operating expenditures on line 21B require a purpose of disbursement. For a list of adequate purposes of disbursement, please visit our website by clicking the link in the About section below. Please note, the category code is not required. The check number and account identifier boxes are for internal bookkeeping purposes and do not appear on the face of the report. Now that you've entered all of the necessary information for this transaction, click OK and you will return to the Summary Page screen. You will notice the amount of the transaction appear in the This Period Itemized column next to line 21B. This is because the payment to this vendor was over $200 and therefore must be itemized. Keep in mind, for a payment to a vendor that has not reached the $200 itemization threshold, this amount will appear in the This Period Unitemized column. Now, let's move on to entering a disbursement for a contribution to a federal candidate. To do this, double-click on line 23, Contributions to Federal Candidates and Political Committees. You will advance to the Contribution to Federal Candidate Political Committee box. Here, you will notice that there are two separate boxes where the candidate and their campaign committee information need to be entered. Please note, the name field should contain the name of the candidate's campaign committee, as that is who the contribution is given to. The candidate/campaign committee field should contain the candidate's information, such as office sought and district, so the correct candidate is clearly identified on the report. To enter the campaign committee's information, click once in the name field and hit the Tab key if their name does not appear in the box below. Remember, you will have to change the type to campaign committee, since that's who the contribution was given to. When entering a disbursement to a federal candidate or committee, you can save time by using the lookup feature to access an FEC database of official committee information. This feature allows you to easily fill out the name, address, committee ID, and office sought state and district information. Click the Lookup button and the FEC ID lookup window will appear. Scroll through the list or click anywhere and begin typing the name of the campaign committee. Then click once on the entry when you find it. Select the Copy All button to copy all applicable information, then click OK. All of the committee's information should now be filled in. Keep in mind, the lookup feature only contains the information for federally registered candidates and committees. Click OK to return to the transaction. You will now need to fill in the rest of the information for this contribution. If the candidate's information does not appear in the box below, click once in the Candidate/Campaign Committee box and hit the Tab key to advance to the Individual Organization Information box. The entity type should read Candidate, since this is where you will enter the candidate's identifying information. You can now use the lookup function to easily fill in this information. The candidate's name will be listed alphabetically by last name and then first. You can type the candidate's name in the box below, then click Lookup to get to their entry more quickly. Once you find the candidate's name and appropriate office sought state and district, highlight the entry and click Copy All. Once you click OK, the candidate's information will populate in the box. Click OK to return to the transaction. Again, the category code, check number, and account identifier fields are not required. Now that all of the necessary information for a contribution on line 23 has been entered, click OK to return to the summary page. You will notice the amount of the transaction appear in the This Period Itemized column next to line 23. This is because contributions to federal candidates are itemized regardless of amount. At this time, it is a good idea to save your dataset to ensure no information is lost. The easiest way to do this is to click the Save Your Report and Recent Activity icon on the toolbar. You can also choose File, then Save. Once you have entered activity into your report, you can use the Print Preview function to view what your transactions will look like on the actual Form 3X. To do this, click the printer icon on your toolbar. This will bring up a PDF showing a paper copy of your report. Here, you'll see the payment to the vendor on line 21B and the contribution to the candidate on line 23. Congratulations! You've just learned how to enter some of the most common disbursements in FECFile. As you continue to explore the software, I encourage you to watch the next videos in the series to learn more about FECFile and empower yourself to file your reports easily and accurately. For links seen in the video, please refer to the About section below. Thanks for watching!